It's actually flattering that people really think that I have somehow have this importance, which I plainly don't. It's ridiculous. You know, I mean, I was offered a chance to actually sit down for an extended period of time in a private setting with the one person who has dominated all of our lives, whether you like him or not, for the last 10 years. That's just not deniable. I took it. I can't imagine why anybody wouldn't take it. Just can I see the Trump adopterist up close? I'm going to get to see it, and then you know what the only thing that bugs me about it is they don't give me proper credit for it. And then I went back to my day job, tearing him a new asshole, and never stopped before the dinner, never stopped after the dinner, and during, because I said lots of things to him that you would think liberals would love that a guy said right to his face. You didn't win the election, and birtherism was vile, and you know what? You know, I said to him, you're scaring people. Why do you want to scare people so much? So, like, I haven't changed at all, and the fact that it made so many people hysterical, not most people, by the way. I mean, I've certainly heard from zillions, and yeah, it's mostly very positive, but yeah, there are some people, sometimes surprising people.
Larry David just made the biggest mistake of his entire career, and now the entire GOP is piling on, dismantling him piece by piece. On a recent show, Bill Maher and Piers actually teamed up to expose all the hypocrisy Larry David and the left have been putting on full display. They didn't hold anything back, ruthlessly calling out the double standards, the fake outrage, and the woke crowd's desperate attempts to rewrite reality. And trust me, what you're about to see is only the beginning. You do not want to miss this.
But, you know, look, I don't want to get in too much into that, but I think the minute you play the Hitler card,
that's what I think.
You've lost the argument.
Yes.
And also, I must say, you know, come on, man. Hitler, Nazis, nobody has been harder about and more prescient, I must say, about Donald Trump than me. I don't need to be lectured on who Donald Trump is. Just the fact that I met him in person didn't change that. And the fact that I reported honestly is not a sin either. But, you know, to use the Hitler thing, first of all, I just think it's kind of insulting to 6 million dead Jews, you know, like that should kind of be in its own place in history. And, you know, I know people can say, well, we're just comparing it in this way. Well, it's an argument you kind of lost just to start it. It's just, look, maybe it's not completely logically fair, but Hitler has really kind of got to stay in his own place. He is the goat of evil, and we're just...
One of the most surprising reactions came from none other than Larry David himself, someone who was supposed to be Bill Maher's longtime friend. No matter how much Bill tried to explain that none of this changed his true identity as a liberal, the woke crowd wasn't buying it. They never do. Instead, they doubled down even harder, clinging to the same ideas and failed strategies that have already cost them so much. It's like they refuse to learn, even when the truth is staring them right in the face.
One of the problems with the far left is that their ideas of purity are so unrealistic, if nothing else, in a country where, you know, Trump did win 2 elections.
Yes.
I mean, you just can't write off. I know, I saw it after the election. There was a lot of people who, you know, some I know and some are friends, but their whole attitude was, we're a bad country. That's what it is. We have nothing to be sorry about with the way we ran our election, or it's just, we thought the country was full of good people, and they're actually full of really shitty, horrible people. Deplorables, that whole thing, calling them and thinking of them as deplorable. And I just don't think of a Trump voter as necessarily deplorable. He could be, absolutely. And so could someone who voted for Kamala Harris be deplorable in their own way. Now, it's also not equivalent. I make no fuzz on it all the time. I'm very clear about it. I think the right is more dangerous. I think what's going on in this country is a shit show. I mean, shout out to my writers, because we have been as hard on Trump as we ever have. The stuff we do, I mean, if you think I'm the guy to avoid because I'm not going to be hard on Trump now, you're missing actually still, excuse my immodesty, the sharpest, hardest, funniest taking down of MAGA Nation and the right. And, you know, the thing is, I'll also do it on the left but they're not in power now. So they're not getting as much from me, as they shouldn't.
Did you hear from Trump after your monologue after the dinner?
I'm not going to comment on any of that. I mean,
I'll take that as a yes.
And that's exactly why the Democrats are absolutely losing it, because deep down, they know we've never seen this kind of honest conversation happen with their own presidents. Just the fact that Bill Maher had dinner with Trump was enough to set them off. But what really sent them over the edge was Maher coming back and exposing all the secrets they've worked so hard to keep buried. That's what made them lose their minds, and now, they have no idea how to control the damage.
He's not my president. Yeah, both sides say that when they lose it. He's not my president. Well, you know what? I'm sorry, precious, but we don't get our own personal president in America. We have elections, and one guy wins, and he legit, I'm sorry, won twice. And by the way, the time he didn't win, I said to his face, "You didn't win."
Yeah.
You'd think a liberal would love that somebody did that to the president. You'd think that would be like nothing for that? Nothing?
I completely agree.
It's crazy.
I told you privately, and
crazy.
I'd said it on air. I think you did exactly what you should have done. And this idea that you can't is indicative of the mindset, to me, of why the left has got itself into such a problem.
And again,
especially with Trump, because they don't seem to know how to take him on. Like, what I'm looking for is not someone that just screams at Trump all day and calls him Hitler, but somebody who actually presents a compelling argument to the American people of how it could be different. That is a compelling enough thing where they want to vote for them.
My answer can just be summed up in 4 words. As opposed to what?
Yes.
As opposed to what is you don't have the court, you don't have the Senate, you lost the House, you lost everything. You lost everything with your stupid boutique issues and your insistence that Joe Biden was a handsome young triathlete who was completely capable of functioning for another term. So now and not having a primary, and so now you have nothing. You have nothing. I said it last week. It's that scene in the movie where they're having a gunfight and then click, click. Oh shit, there's no bullets. I've seen them. Sometimes they throw the gun at the person. Like they throw the gun because they don't have enough bullets.
Honestly, this is exactly how people should be speaking. Look, not all of us have agreed with everything Bill Maher has said over the years, but there are definitely some points where we're right there with him. Especially when he looks back and calls out the Democrats for completely losing their minds over Trump and endlessly pushing race and gender propaganda. If the Democrats keep going down this path, there's going to be no one left on the left willing to speak the truth. It'll just be an echo chamber of pure insanity.
Is not to, because Bill Maher, first of all, I totally agree. He's totally in the right to do it, and I loved his monologue. Even though I disagree with most everything he believes politically, he was right to do this and he was right to speak out about it. But this isn't about that dinner. It's about the next one, because this is the modern left. It's an attempt always to intimidate people into not ever doing it again. It's to silence yourselves or we'll do it for you. That's the purpose of this op-ed, so that the next comedian or the next person on the American left chooses not to speak to Donald Trump. This is all an effort to get people not to do what you just said, which is to talk to each other and our political leaders.
What Scott Jennings said here is absolutely true, and honestly, you can feel more and more people waking up to it. They're finally realizing that the woke crowd isn't to be trusted. The mask is slipping, and no amount of yelling or crying is going to hide the truth anymore.
I've heard Bill of yours for a while. We're on different planets, obviously, on the spiritual religious stuff. But when you spoke against the woke, that for me was a proving moment. And I have to say something, and this is 100% true. You had more moral courage than pastors that I know that went along with the woke crazy train. And you deserve credit for that because it was of high cost.
Until we get rid of that shit, they're never going to win another election.
I agree. They're not going to take political advice from me.
No, but they might from me.
They could.
And
they should. But
not the 10%, but that's 10%.
But they're very loud.
They're very loud, but that's it. And I, as FDR once said, I welcome their hatred because they're just, first of all, they have no integrity. They don't ever present the full argument. They just cherry pick. I mean, everybody does it to everybody. So I'm not saying I'm unique here, But that is part of the problem of our discourse, is that everybody just wants to forward their narrative. No one is really interested in the full truth. Just the truth. Just give me the truth. And that's the crowd I'm going for.
Yes.
You know, because I'm supposed to like get on the short bus to Crazy Town with them, and I won't. And yet I'm still a liberal, and still, like, you know, I mean, we probably could argue all day about Donald Trump and what he's doing, which I'm not down with. But, you know, it's always the people who are closest who think, oh gosh, you shouldn't have, you're a traitor somehow.
I was going to ask, is it because they thought you were one of them, and that...
I am one of them. They're not one of me. Okay. It's the liberals who have...
So they've left you, not you left.
Yeah, well,
I
feel like there's... Liberal and woke are two completely different things. It was the theme of my last stand-up special that I just did a few months ago. And it's basically... I mean, it wasn't the whole special, of course, but it was a large part of it devoted to that, to proving that case that, you know, what liberals believe, woke is something completely different. It's very often the opposite of it. You know, liberalism is, let's live in a colorblind society. That's the goal. Woke's goal is, we see race everywhere.
Race obsession.
Yes. Okay. So that's not liberal. You changed. Liberal is, there are two-state solution. Woke is river to the sea. Okay. So just don't take my word and say you're that. You took this and took it to, you got off the F train, you fell asleep, and you got off the 20 stops too far, and don't blame me for that.
Thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. There's a lot more coming your way soon.